Hi, I am Mark Stewart Greenstein, independent candidate for governor, and want to talk finally about polls as a conduit to who's going to be seated for debates. When you're basing the seating on who's leading in polls, remember, the polls are being asked of maybe the worst people to poll. Let me get you into polling, because I've done political calling, and I know a lot of how it works. That there is some pressure, these are private enterprises, to get through to people faster and get your work done, hopefully ethically, but not waste time on wrong numbers, leaving messages, do not answers. Who are the most reliable answerers of a landline phone? Older people. Okay? No question about it. There are not that many 50-year-olds and under who still have a landline. And when they do, they often do it for their junk calls, and they know they're not going to answer it. The cell phone users, often younger, are the ones who can't be found as easily by polling organizations. And even if they are, they're not the most reliable picker-uppers, okay? They screen calls a lot more than your 80-year-old, okay? So, polling lists are both populated by older Americans and they are responded to even more so by older Americans. They're always home, okay? They're watching television. They're not doing that much else. So, this is somewhat entertaining to pick up the phone. Hello. What you're missing then is very independent younger Americans. What you're getting is a highly skewed group that traditionals go with traditional parties. So they often don't even know that there are three other candidates besides Bob Stefanowski and Ned Lamont in the governor's race. So here's a possible sample from a human pollster to someone at the other end of a yes landline. Ring. Hello? Hello, this is Ed. Hi, I am calling from a polling organization. Are you still a registered voter? Oh yeah, I vote all the time. Who would be your preference in the upcoming Connecticut governor's election? Well, I vote Republican, so I'm going to be voting for the Republican this year too. Sir, I just want to make sure. There are 5 candidates on the ballot. Is it the Republican who you're choosing? Well, what's his name? That's Bob Stefanowski. Yeah, that's him. Do you know much about Bob Stefanowski? No, I don't know, but he's a Republican, so I approve of him. Okay, I thank you, sir. Another call. Good morning. This is a polling organization. Hello, this is Edwina. Thank you for calling. Madam, can you tell us who you prefer in the governor's race for Connecticut? Well, my husband and I are lifelong Republican voters, so we're almost certain to be voting Republican once again. Who's running? Well, madam, we're supposed to just be asking. I can't tell you the names of the ones on the ballot, but maybe you can tell me who you prefer. Well, we haven't studied it that well yet. We do lean Republican. They seem to be more balanced. Madam, I need to get an answer. Well, can't you send me... I have email now. My grandson set us up. Can't I see more? Well, our organization's not able to do that. They don't find that online polls are very reliable. So I'd like to hear from you. Well, it's just Ned and Bob, correct? That is not quite true. We'd like to know a preference from all 5. Well, I think it would have to be Bob. All right, thank you for calling. One more. Pollster might be seeing, okay, household we've called a lot before, registered Democrat, but let's see where they stand. Hello, I'm calling from a polling organization. Oh, hello, thank you for calling. This is Edward. Sir, can you tell me your preference in the Connecticut governor's race? Well, my wife and I are quite thoughtful. We do lean Democrat, so we do feel that Mr. Lamont is going to be the better choice. Well, you realize it's not just a one-on-one choice. Oh, well, we won't vote Republican, okay? Especially with Trump in the White House. So, we'll be voting for Mr. Lamont. Sir, there are 5 candidates on the ballot. Well, but we don't know about other candidates. And we think that if you can't vote Republican, you better be voting Democrat. We would like Mr. Malone. All right, thank you. We can't do anything more. I appreciate your sentiments. You end up with sentiments of people who are unable, even though maybe willing, to see other opinions. So here's erstwhile polling, but of people who really can't give an opinion about the full ballot when they only know about two and might not even know much about those two. If Oz, Rod, and I are not mentioned, the pollsters aren't doing their job. To his credit, this hypothetical pollster is mentioning all five of us. I'm not bashing pollsters. I am bashing the organizers of debates' respect for polls because of how skewed a look it is. I'm also dissing the compulsion to have only two candidates. You could put 3 or 4 seats on the stage, 5 if need be. To say it's got to be 1 and 1, that's laughable. It also denigrates the mindfulness of Connecticut voters who can handle more than A versus B and probably deserve to see C, D, and E more opinions, some of which would be really helpful for Connecticut, some of which would be even helpful for the main two candidates. Oz, Rod, and I put pressure on Ned to be better and Bob to be better. I want a good governor coming out of this race. I hope it's me. But I want somebody tested, tried, attuned with what Connecticut people really want. You try only Bob versus Ned, and they play to and off of one another, they neglect a lot of us. How many of us? Well, the largest affiliation is not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's independent. And that's where the action is for both of those big candidates. They want to woo independent voters. And when poll organizers end up calling on generally tried and true Democrat, tried and true Republican, they're neglecting a big segment of the vote that probably matters the most. Can you put 5 into a debate? Easily. Look, I was at panels this winter when there were 11, one in Westport. It was 15 of us. It's doable. 5 is very doable. I would invite the lieutenant governor candidates too. Put 9 or 10 of us on the stage. Look, if in the first couple debates I flail, I go Admiral Stockdale, okay, then maybe don't invite me anymore. But I'm going to be a choice on the ballot with very different views. Oz has pretty good views as well. The debate among 5 of us might be not as he versus she. There might not be many jabs. Intellectually, a one-on-one is boring. A 5-person debate is stimulating and necessary, okay? You won't have the modern-day jousting of what jab can that guy get against the other. By the way, multiple-way campaigning makes campaigns go positive instead of negative. I've written about that before. So you should invite all of us. I am probably the guy that Republicans wish they had on their team. I am the Democrat the party needs on their team. And it would be nice if a debate finally revealed that on television. I thank everybody who's going outside of television to get their sources, and I hope you reward the radio stations and the print journals and the online journals that do put forth issues about all 5 of us. I'm Mark Greenstein. Have a nice weekend.